Hey friend, this is Soph. I'm 6 foot tall. I know we aren't the only women struggling with insecurities associated with being tall. So I went through books and interviews and found women who have talked about those insecurities. It's like us and these successful women were all giraffes. They navigated these insecurities with grace. We can use their learnings and maybe try to be as good as they are. At the minimum, we can try not to knock things over with our lanky bodies, metaphorically, in life. First up, Michelle Obama. She is 5'11", amazing former First Lady. In her book, The Light We Carry, Overcoming in Uncertain Times, she wrote, "It can be easy to presume that your differentness is the most visible part of you, the thing people perceive first and remember longest. Sometimes this is absolutely true, and other times it is not. The difficult part is that you will rarely know. You have little choice except to keep going regardless. But the problem is, once you allow the judgment of others inside, it gets distracting. This is a hallmark of self-consciousness, a shift from thinking about yourself to imagining how people are thinking about you. And it can also become a form of self-sabotage because now suddenly you too are perceiving your differentness first. Instead of focusing on trying to solve the math problems on the board, you're worrying about how you look. You raise your hands to ask a question at a lecture, but you're simultaneously wondering how your voice sounds in a room full of people who are not like you. You are headed to a meeting with your boss, but you are second guessing the impression you will make, fretting about the length of your skirt and whether you should have worn lipstick. In my own head, in real time, and for my own benefit, I could rewrite the story of not mattering. I'm tall, and that's a good thing. I'm a woman, and that's a good thing. I'm black, and that's a good thing. I am myself, and that is a very good thing. When you start to rewrite the story of not mattering, you start to find a new center. You remove yourself from other people's mirrors and begin speaking more fully from your own experience, your own knowing place. You become better able to attach your pride and more easily step over all the despites. It doesn't remove obstacles, but I've found that it helps to shrink them. It helps you to count your victories, even the small ones, and know that you're okay. This, I believe, is the root of true confidence and becomes the place from which you can move towards more visibility, more agency, and more ability to create broader change. It's not something you conquer in 1, 2, or even a dozen tries. It takes work to get yourself out of people's mirrors. It takes practice to keep the right messages in your head. Next, I want to talk about Karlie Kloss. She is 6'2", a supermodel. I found this interview of hers with Naomi Campbell.
Your tallness. Let's go back to that.
Yes.
How tall are you, Karlie?
I'm 6'2", which I only admit that now. I think I said 5'11" for a very long time. But I'm basically 6'2", and I'm really tall. So I would always kind of close the shows with a big long gown because every designer knew that I could kind of carry it off.
When you were doing ballet, did they ever tell you? Because I was told this, and it tipped me for a second, and I thought, forget it, I'm not listening to her. That I was too tall to be a ballerina. Were you ever told that?
I was told that from when I was 13 years old. Because when I was 13, I was probably 5'8" or 5'9" already. And I was told that I would never have a career as a professional ballerina, which was fine because that was never my intention. But I think what I learned from ballet was actually how to love my body, how to stand tall and to actually kind of command presence with kind of just movement. And I think for me as a tall girl, which I really struggled with being so tall, my whole life. It's not like when I was 16, all of a sudden I shot up. Since kindergarten, I was taller than all the boys. I was taller than all the teachers. Oh my God, I was trying so hard. I thought I don't know what I thought, because I had heard all these things about how you could how people were helping themselves keep growing. But I would have given anything to stop growing. I remember trying to put weights on my head and nothing worked.
So, but it wasn't just something that you did. It wasn't something your parents did to you to try and stunt your growth.
No,
okay.
No.
Okay.
If that was an option, I would have done it.
Last but not least, Maria Sharapova, famous tennis player. She's 6'2", and in her book Unstoppable: My Life So Far, she wrote, "I was 14 and one of my biggest dreams was about to come true. I began to grow and grow and grow. It seemed to happen all at once in the course of a long summer night. You go to bed in one body and you wake up in another, stretched out. Long and clumsy and thin, 8 inches added just like that. I'd top out at 6'2". But well, you know what they say about too much of a good thing. I was suddenly in possession of an entirely new body, but it was gangly and out of my control. And it hurt. Adding all those inches in such a short period of time made my bones ache. And suddenly, I was looking down at everyone. I felt awkward, even embarrassed about this at first. I later came to love my height and see it as a gift. I love being tall. That's probably why I wear high heels. Also because I love the shoes. I'm not going to let my height prevent me from wearing exactly what I want to wear. If you have a problem with a woman who towers over you, it's your problem, not mine." But it was not easy at first. I had a new body and had yet to figure out how to control it. I was uncoordinated, not in command of my own limbs. I could still practice with intensity, but in matches, my body would betray me, go haywire. The inevitable result was a string of embarrassing defeats. My first real losing streak. I lost and lost everywhere. They try to help me, but there is only so much another person can do. In the end, it's something you have to figure out yourself. Many promising careers have ended this way. You probably don't know their names or their sad stories. You worry that your name will be added to that list. It was a nightmare, full of uncertainty. But looking back, I can see that it was ultimately advantageous. Anyone can be composed and cool while winning, when everything is going according to plan. But how do you deal with a losing streak? That is a big question. That's what separates the professionals from the cautionary tales. There really is so much more to learn from losing than from winning, about the game and about yourself. Do you get up when you've been knocked down? Do you have it in you to press ahead when your work suddenly seems pointless? When you are playing the game just for the game itself? When you worry that you are letting everyone down? Do you get up one more time than you've been knocked down? Or do you quit? That's the toughness that Yudkin had been talking about all those years before. No one really knows how they will react to disaster until the disaster is on top of them. I don't know exactly how long it went on like this. I could probably look it up and count the losses. But who would want to do that, even in the spirit of being complete? It's enough to say it felt like forever. It seemed like nothing would ever change. And then, one day, it did. My brain finally began to understand my body. It didn't happen during a victory, and it didn't happen all at once. It happened during a loss. To a spectator, it would have looked like just another failure, but something important had changed. So, there you have it. For more on the books that I read or the interviews I referenced, check out the description box down below. Okay, bye.